Hey, this is Nell, the platform creator from Melanated Voices, and I am on my entrepreneur segment. This is Melanated Voices with the entrepreneur segment. Nell, the platform creator with Melanated Voices podcast, and I am doing my entrepreneur segment with Sean Reeves Sr. Hi, Sean.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How
I'm
about yourself?
so happy that you are here.
Listen, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
So let's start first off with you just tell me a little bit about yourself. First of all, we know that you're an entrepreneur because you wouldn't be up here if you wasn't.
Right.
Can you first tell me when you became an entrepreneur?
So, legally, as far as my first legal business, 2008. Myself, my brother, and my cousin decided to take on an entrepreneurial venture called Ready for Print. We were based in Bridgeport, selling flyers, business cards, things like that. Throughout life, probably since I was a kid.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about that since you were a kid. How old?
Right, so we probably started going to the apple orchard. Maybe I was about 9 or 10.
Where'd you live?
Hazel Street, same place I
Apple
live now.
orchard on Hazel Street.
Well, so we actually had an apple tree in the backyard, but my grandfather used to take us to the apple orchard to pick apples.
Okay.
He had a tire shop on the corner of Dixwell and it's not Cherry Ann, it's the street over, but he had a tire shop out there. So
Okay.
we pick apples and then go out there and sell them in front of his tire shop.
Nice.
While he did tires, and all the money that we made profit was ours.
Wow.
Right. So he introduced us to entrepreneurism.
Okay.
He was a one-armed tire man inside the city. Probably before the tires, he had a couple corner stores, things like that.
So you've always been around entrepreneurship?
My whole life, myself,
In
my
your
brother.
blood?
Yeah, nah, just running our veins, right?
Okay.
So from there, growing up, my cousin Todd, his mom was working at the hospital. She used to get us a lot of odd jobs.
Okay.
So we'd be making money cleaning out basements, stuff like that. And then as kids, we used to do a lot of shoveling in the
Okay.
wintertime. So literally, we'd be 7 to 8 deep, coming home with like $200 and $300 each
Nice.
from a shoveling day.
From a shoveling day.
Right.
Nothing illegal, like
Nah.
plain shoveling.
Shoveling snow,
Wow.
shoveling driveways, walkways, all of that good stuff up the hill in the Jewish neighborhoods behind Hill House.
So, okay, so when you put it like that, we know that entrepreneurship's kind of been in your blood. You've been like that since you was a child, but what made you continue with entrepreneurship and like up to your adulthood, stay that path instead of going the school and the degree and,
Well,
working for someone else?
so high school, I went to career high. I majored in business there. Actually did well, graduated high in my class, had a 4-year paid scholarship, got accepted to a bunch of universities.
Wow.
I was selling drugs though, probably since about the 10th grade, 11th grade. Making a lot of money, wind up getting caught with a firearm and took a few different paths after that, right? I did go to college at Gateway for a little while, just didn't finish, wind up getting caught with another firearm, had to go through some time. I served my first sentence, which was 1 year mandatory. From there, just been the hustle and bustle. I did 2 more sentences since then, 2.5 years, wind up discharging from that, and then my last bit was 8.
Okay.
So I've been home since 2004. Came home, got into carpentry.
Okay.
Not a fully licensed carpenter yet. I think I just got to do a couple of more hours. But from 2005 to 2000 and late 8, early 9, I was doing carpentry. But in 2008, we started our first business.
Okay.
So
And that's the printing business.
that's the print company, right? So I wind up taking a leave of absence from carpentry.
Do you recommend entrepreneurship for anyone who's kind of like, and I've known people who've been in some type of legal problems, legal troubles, and it's very hard to get a really good job, something that pays what you would get if you were in the streets getting money, Would you recommend entrepreneurship for them because,
So no, I don't recommend entrepreneurship for everybody.
Okay.
There are several opportunities for good gainful employment for men that have been and women that have been incarcerated, especially in the construction trades field.
Okay.
Right. I recommend entrepreneurism for people that's willing to sacrifice, that's really hungry and thirsty, and just can't work under any type of other authoritative measures.
Okay.
But they got to have a level of creativity on their own, or else they won't survive.
Okay.
They won't survive. This is it's a tough thing. You got to be a constant learner.
Okay.
Right. I came into the print company off my cousin back. We ain't know nothing. I just had some money.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Investing.
I had money. My brother had money. My cousin had an idea. He came to us with a business plan, and we believed in each other, so we was willing to invest. Right.
Okay.
By 2012, we had to dismantle the business. We no longer were business partners. Things happened. You know, we had to part ways as businessmen, but still maintain our relationships as family.
Okay.
Right. That was the most important thing. You know, my son's trials and tribulations kind of ticked all of that off, along with some other circumstances. Through it all, though, we persevered, right?
Excellent.
All of us are still entrepreneurs in our own rights.
Yes.
We all got our own businesses, still doing our own things, and living life on our own terms, right?
Yeah.
Creating new pathways for ourselves and our families.
Now you have a tragedy to triumph story. Could you share that?
So, in 2011, my son got killed. 16, straight A student, basketball star. I ain't gonna tell you he was gonna make the NBA because he was short, but nonetheless, he would have probably had a great college career, amongst other things. But again, we talked earlier about those aspirations for your children,
Yes.
right? Me knowing the level of intelligence that he had, without really even pushing hard forward yet, because he was young and didn't really understand none of his potential.
Mm-hmm.
The sky could have been the limit.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? It's been 10 years. This is like the first year that I've really been able to actually feel like, you know, a good me. I ain't gonna say the old me, I'm gonna say a new me, because it's definitely a new me. Nothing about me is the same. But, you know, through the course of 10 years, I lost a lot of people. My son, my uncle, my oldest uncle, my dad, my grandma, my mom, and my cousin.
Want to cut for a second?
That should be hell. But
What do you think helped you persevere? What made you
chess.
And is this where the sports academy came out of?
Chess.
Okay.
Chess. So my cousin Sleep, who just passed away, he introduced me to chess first in my life ever. Probably was like 12 or 13 in high school, just hit high school. Well, you know, 9th grade.
Okay.
One day he came home with a chessboard from school. He was like, yo, let me show you something.
Okay.
Beat me in 3 moves, probably about 10 times. Right? But that was my first experience with chess.
Okay.
I never really took to the game. But after my son passed away, somebody came and reintroduced me to chess, but in a way that showed me that I could find life in there.
Okay.
So he's now my mentor and a founder, which is of the Academy, Sport Academy. And that word sport is an acronym. It stands for Street Poets Cipher Real Truth.
Yes.
But through that game, he allowed my mind to reshape itself and see things in a clear fashion, right?
Okay.
So all of the skewed vision that I had about the things that I might have been doing in the street, even as much as I was helping people, we were still causing more damage than we realized, right? And just looking at things entirely different, man. So, you know, now in my fatherly capacity, because after that, my youngest daughter, her mom passed away the following year after my son died.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She was 4, about to turn 5, right? So I had to take her. Right now, I gotta be a dad. I can't do nothing stupid and displace myself when I decided to take her when I could have let somebody else have her if I was planning on doing something stupid, right? So it's just a lot of things that I had to wind up doing to keep myself together. But one thing I will tell you is my motherfucking community. Yo, if I could explain what they've given to me, and wish that every single person that I know felt that same energy, trust me.
That's beautiful.
10 years these people been holding me up in ways nobody know.
That's beautiful.
Shit people don't even talk about, right? That's when you know it's genuine.
Yeah, definitely. Not for sure.
So that's what make my commitment, you know, just that much easier to be able to do what I do now.
Yes.
Like the entrepreneurism is just a pathway to show kids that financial freedom lies with your creativity, not with working for people.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I ain't had a job. And you know when UPS was the last job, and it was really, I dealt with UPS, it was an intermittent point because I wasn't, I hadn't worked for nobody in years.
Okay.
I was planning on probably going back to carpentry because things were starting to slow with the printing. That's my biggest paycheck. I get $30 an hour going right there. You know what I'm saying? So UPS was just to get myself back physically in shape to start working.
Okay.
Since I left that place, it's over.
Now tell us a little bit about Sports Academy. What does that entail? Like, what do you offer?
So
it's
we teach
kids, right?
Right, we teach chess, but it's to anybody 5 and up. You know what I'm saying?
5 and up, okay.
Yeah, so we teach chess on a level from kids 5 and up, and grown people get chess too.
Wow.
Like again, chess is life, and
yes.
we have a way that we transform the game into sustainable ways of thinking.
Okay.
Right, so we're creating a lot of decision makers, and it really deals with critical thinking. So we have a microwave society fashion now. Everybody wants things on the fly, and this is another thing about the gardens I'll get into in a second. But we have to learn how to slow our thinking down and see further ahead than just a moment.
Okay.
This jungle that we grew up in has strangled our kids to the point, and ourselves, where people really just trying, you know, we have this thing where we say we just living for the day. People not thinking about tomorrow, next week, next month, or next year.
And I can see how chess really does make you have to think a couple of moves ahead before you move. So
3 moves on average we want to get people to, and that's a good place to be.
Okay.
Right? But if you could get yourself to 5 and 10 moves, man, you're in a spectacular speed of thought now. You can actually see more things happening just by the move you make. Right? So you get to start manipulating matter, so to speak.
Okay. And you feel like with that, just with a game, that can transform your mind in other areas of your life?
The benefits of chess are ridiculous, right? It makes you use both sides of your brain because you have to think about your own moves plus your opponent. But when we teach it in a fashion to a child just that gets up in the morning and think they don't have a say in what they do every day. I can never say nothing or do nothing, but actually they make decisions and they just don't know it because nobody's explained it to them. So we use that game to do it. When you get up in the morning,
that's good because kids don't.
Listen,
I
when
like
you
that.
get up in the morning and your mother asks you to make your bed up and you don't do it, You
That's
made
a
a
choice.
decision,
Exactly.
right? So when they say something else to you and you get mad because they yelled at you or they told you to do something too many times, you made a decision to not do it the first time, right? And it goes on in school and things like that, but you see the light bulb pop right on a lot of these kids. You do have decisions. You your decision maker every day, even at your age.
Powerful.
And then it instills and it infuses them with energy differently because now when they go to school, it's important they get to say something,
choices.
right?
Exactly.
And you explain to them everything has a process. You inside this box, don't feel like you in a box that you can't manipulate. You can bend rules, right? You just can't break them. There's a difference. You can manipulate things, but this is stuff that I've been given, right?
Yeah.
So I like to give it freely and honestly, since I've been working with kids and dealing with chess and just talking this truth, I've never felt better in life.
Yeah,
like,
yes.
This the realest me I've ever been since I've been a kid.
Now let's talk about these gardens.
So first of all, I don't eat meat, fish, but no meats. You know what I'm saying?
What's that called? A pescatarian?
Call it what you want to call it. I try to be as healthy as I possibly can. Inside the constraints of good diet, right? I like fish still. I was a straight carnivore. I was eating everything. So I'm fortunate enough that I could just want to eat fish maybe once a week, once a month at my leisure, right? Because it's times I don't have none of it. I just make vegetables. And I could live off vegetables every day, all day.
Can I be like you when I grow up?
It's a process, right?
I'm sure it is.
But every day you take steps to get there, if that's what you're really committed to, right?
Yeah,
Everything involves a commitment, and the gardens is, for one, it allows us to take a step back into reality about how everything operates in life. Nature is the realest you can get it. Right, but we've gotten so far from nature that we don't understand the process. We expect everything to be instant because of technology got us on. Press a button, boom, you can have a delivery tomorrow if you want to pay that much money, right?
Definitely.
Boom. So all of that stuff is real, but you can't move through life faster than it lets you as an individual. There's this thing called time. It don't stop ticking. Every second count. It's just what you're doing with it.
Definitely. So where is this garden?
So there's a garden on the corner of Shelton Avenue and Hazel Street at the moment that we, Mr. Lonzo, who's been tending to this garden for 28 years, he's 92 this week, has allowed us to have half of the garden. Right, so we got 100 feet by 30 feet worth of space in a plot that used to probably have property on it back in the day. It got knocked down and just been a garden for that many years now. But we plan to showcase what we could do because we garden, right? I'm learning the aspect of it, but I got a bunch of green thumbs around me. My cousin is green thumb. My grandmother's gardening all my life.
Now, can anyone garden?
Everybody that's a community member can garden.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's a community function.
And how do you become a community member? Do you have to live in that community or?
Not necessarily. It would be better if you did, right? But no, you don't have to.
Okay.
We people. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of areas that we need to address as a people. So I don't care whether you're coming from Bridgeport, you know what I'm saying? Just come.
With good intention.
With love.
Yes, exactly.
And willingness to want to help, right? Because gardens require work.
Now, what's your goals with the garden?
Goals with the garden is to really start producing more sound foods for us. Start talking about our health and wellness, right?
So you think you thought classes maybe within the garden?
Listen, all of those things, man. Every resource that's available to us, we just have to get the resource to do what it needs to do for us as a people, right?
Okay.
So yeah, I want to talk about our health, like meaning our physical health and wellness when it comes to eating those particular foods, but also our social and emotional health and wellness. Man, gardening is in that type of work brings people together in different ways, right?
Yes,
we have a lot of healing to do. Like I said, my background was a little choppy. I was selling drugs, stuff like that. So it's been people that I grew up with as kids that through the course of our adulthood, we became non-friends, right? We was enemies on the streets, and caused a lot of damage, right? So we got a lot of healing to do. Those of us that have made it, we're older now, we're fathers, and we're in a different space, right? But we ain't had those communicative spaces anymore, those good conversations to really mend all of those old wounds, right? Apologize and all of that good stuff, and figure out where do we go from here.
Okay.
Those gardens, from what I'm noticing now, is the perfect opportunity. Everybody stopping by.
Definitely.
Everybody contributing, even if it's for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, because that corner is busy.
Nah, that's one of the main corners in New Haven, especially for the blacks, man. Blacks used to have to migrate in certain spaces in New Haven when we first migrated here, or were brung here, so to speak, right? Whatever the case may be, between, think like Bassett or Pond Street up to Brewster Street was as far as we could go as blacks in the community, right? So New Hallville has always been the densest black community.
Okay.
It ain't never gonna change unless gentrification just push us out, which
they're trying.
These new initiatives are gonna be able to start slowing some things down and giving us a different level of playing field, right? Alongside with all of this systemic racism facts that's now, finally in the open with the world. But this is the best opportunity we ever gonna have as a people to come together and really solidify ourselves, right? And begin to really figure out who we are, where we come from, as much information as we really can get, give to ourselves, even down to our education system right now. It ain't doing our babies no good, and it's time to really reshape the information that they're getting, because slavery been dead a long time. They shouldn't be getting taught that type of stuff. They shouldn't be getting taught information about Christopher Columbus, because we know it's a lie, right? So let's reshape what we're giving them. We have this concept at the academy now called the Athlete Scholar Program.
Okay.
Right, so we want to take kids into a sport, chess, health and wellness, but also for my daughter, she likes technology. I want her to be able to go to more technological classes that deal with things for her in the future. Right, I have a son, his name is Aiden. He's 13 now. He lives in Maryland, but he likes architectural stuff. So you want to give them opportunities that fit the individual kid now, because every kid doesn't deal with school the same anymore.
Exactly.
There's so much of it's because they're advanced.
Very much so.
And individually, we haven't figured out their new spaces. You know what I mean? So when you look at kids now, they should be involved in all kinds of biosciences and things like that. But our children don't have those opportunities at the moment because of all this legal litigation around where the money goes. When they decide they want to go to a better school with better opportunities, the money doesn't follow them. I never understood that.
Exactly.
Right? So there's a lot of things as parents, as fathers, as mothers, as community members, we really need to really organize and get ourselves in gear, because it's just information that they haven't been sharing with us that we're missing, though.
Exactly.
For me, I didn't have this information 10 years ago, right? I've been acquiring information because I've been home lonely, basically depressed, but learning.
Okay.
Trying to figure out who I am now, how do I fit in with world now, and be able to take care of my child responsibly as a father now. I'm no longer that drug dealer, I'm no longer that guy, I'm no longer this guy, but who am I?
Exactly.
Because that hurt.
Oh, I'm sure.
Right, took a lot.
But you triumphed. You triumphed. You're like a phoenix.
Man, listen, man, I'm thankful that the Most High saw fit to keep me. That's as best as I can put it. If it happened any other way and my son was last, I probably wouldn't have made it. You know what I'm saying? My moms and my grandmoms, and there was enough strong enough people around to keep my mind intact, right? That I was willing to listen to.
Okay.
We're poetry in motion right now.
Exactly.
Right. So we're gonna only evolve as more people get involved and decide to bring their creative talents and efforts to the fold. Right.
Now, how would they do that? How?
Listen, we have a problem with joining forces. I want to say, right. The word Sport Academy is an acronym. It stands for Street Poet, Cipher Real Truth. You hear me say it all the time. You're a street poet. He's a street poet. He's a street poet. We are a street poet. we're going to have to stand for something, or we're going to fall for everything, right? We don't like to commit to things. I don't know why. In the world of chess, there's 64 squares on that board that you can physically see, right? That we play inside of. The board itself is 65 squares. But inside there's over 220 squares on that board that you can deal with. Every person has their own mind. We could fit 220 boards and 220 minds inside of one board at one time to manipulate that thing in ways that we see fit. But it takes being willing to join hands. Like, you don't have to stop being who you are to be a member of Sport Academy and be associated with Sport Academy. You just have to be willing to come to that table, and we all have to be on the same consensus at the end of the day, right?
Definitely.
Simple as that.
So tell us your links, how to get in contact with you.
So you can get in contact with me through Sport Academy at sportacademy2013@gmail.com. You can get in contact with me through my company for printing services and all kind of graphic design, amongst other things. It's Prints on Deck LLC. Prints on Deck, that's PRINT with a Z, on deck @gmail.com. The phone number for that is 203-928-8708. My Facebook is Sean on Deck Reeves Sr. Same for my Instagram. But I'm a community member, man. I call myself a local neighborhood superhero. Everybody know me now, and I try to be everywhere because that's what God intended me to be at this moment, right?
Definitely.
So I ain't hard to find, man.
And like you said, the garden is Shelton.
On Shelton and Hazel. Every day, Monday through Friday, probably Saturday and Sunday. Once these plants start really getting in the ground and we start moving, you'll see me there. I'm up early in the morning at 4 or 5 o'clock. I try to put my work in and be ready for the rest of my day. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of things that I do, so I can't spend all my time there. I wish I could, but soon come. You know, once I get them 10 incomes, I can just sit there and and watch things grow.
Definitely.
Right? But I appreciate all of this.
Thank you so much, Sean, for coming on. I really appreciate you, your inspiration.
Thank you very much.
My favorite question at the end. What would you tell inspiring entrepreneurs?
Keep pushing, right? Never stop chasing your dreams. That's the one thing you can't do. Sometimes you gotta block everybody out your path, everybody out your way, because you're gonna have a lot of doubters. And it's not that they doubt you, it's that they doubt themselves. Right? Most people will tell you that you can't tackle a feat that they never even attempt to try and tackle. It's just not in them. That doesn't mean it's not in you. Right?
Yes.
So you gotta be who you are, right? And try to be the best of who you are at the end of the day, man. We all got an expiration date. Right? You never know. So when you start thinking on that terms, man, the only thing you could do is try to give the world the best of you, because that's what you really was sent here to do. Right? Not take from it, give to it.
Definitely. Thank you again, Sean.
Thank you.
Smile for Melanated Voices. We out.